So we're going to get off that particular poll. And then how many of you have gone through the Facebook training in the training area? When you click on training area, or team area rather, on the website, once you register, you log in and you can actually click on social media and click on Facebook engagement strategy, and all the videos and training and scripts are right there. It's the coolest thing ever. So just checking, I see those that have actually done, percentage-wise, have gone through the training. 67% say yes and 33% said no. So, or 50%, now it's 50-50. So for those of you that have not been through the training, this of course will help. I'm hoping that you have seen part one of Rocking Your Business Facebook engagement strategy, because it will all fit together. It's sort of like the first webinar was to go over the basic systems and pieces of the puzzle for the strategy itself. This particular webinar, we will touch lightly on what we touched on the first webinar, but mostly we're going to be focusing on networking and marketing and growing the number of people you have to put in your prosperity pipeline, so that as you post, you have more people reaching out to you that want to know what you're up to. So now I'm going to go to closing that poll. Great. Thanks everyone for participating. I really appreciate it. I'm having fun doing this. So now my last question. Last question is, how many of you are currently participating in the Facebook strategy itself, that are actively doing it? And we're waiting for those responses to come in. The numbers are changing. This is so fun. I love technology when it works. Mercury's in retrograde. I don't know if you guys follow astrology, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed that everything works tonight with no problem. Anyway, so what I'm seeing here, oh, this is actually good. 67% of you say that you're not currently participating in the strategy. So what that tells me is that there's new team members or people that maybe have been aware of this strategy, but you just haven't engaged with it yet. So this is going to be great for you. You want to make sure, if you haven't watched part one of Rocking Your Business with Facebook Engagement Strategy, you can find that webinar listed in the training area of alive2thrivenow.com. And again, you log in, click social media, click Facebook training, and you'll see it right there. So 33% of you are saying yes, you're actively working with the Facebook strategy, and 67% of you right now are saying no. So again, thank you so much for participating in the poll, and share results. I don't know. And now we can hide results. Okay. Like I said, I'm getting used to GoToWebinar. It has so many different things, but again, you know, we're just, it's all a work in progress. So Mary, my wonderful panelist, you're there, correct?
I am. Hi.
Hey, hi there. I just wanted to check in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Mary, I'm going to use you as the way to make sure that people can see things. Are you seeing my PowerPoint right now?
Rocking Your Business Facebook Engagement Strategy. Isogenics green.
Yeah, it is isogenics green. I think that must have been a subconscious thing. I love this color. I use purple and green in this presentation. I love it. Again, thank you all for taking your valuable time this evening. We want to put it to good use. So let's move into the content portion of this webinar. First of all, I think it's important when you do a presentation that you know who is doing the presentation, a little bit about their background. And if you ever do presentations, which I hope you do, be sure to share about yourself, because it builds that relationship and it creates social proof and, you know, some validation that, you know, that, and you're going to be able to relate to people, I think, in a deeper fashion. First of all, a little bit about me. My education is in communications, public relations, and filmmaking. I worked as a producer, editor for CBS and NBC affiliates, and I'm a 30-year veteran of network marketing, which I absolutely love. I've been blessed to have built teams of upwards of 30,000 above, so very blessed. attracted wonderful people to work with, like Bonnie Richards, who I absolutely love and adore. Actually, Bonnie and I go back 30 plus years. So for those of you that know Bonnie Richards, that is a substantial relationship. And how lucky am I to get to work with her and her stellar leadership? I really feel that I work from a place of heart-centered marketing based on relationships and relationship building. 7 years ago, I embraced the internet as an additional way to connect and grow my network of friends and business associates to grow my network. I believe in the integration of both offline and online marketing. I don't think it's one or the other. Unfortunately, for a few years, people thought that people that worked online only did online, but that's not the case. It's about the integration of the two. What online does, though, is allows you to leverage yourself through social platforms so that you can get more done in less time and have more of a lifestyle, and it's easier and more fun to duplicate. So I love that. Oops, let's see here. I think I skipped one. My slides got a little bit out of place. So let's see if I can find where, this got switched around. Let me just switch it. Okay,
Okay.
last thing about me is my tagline is holistic entrepreneur. So, as you go down your journey in online marketing, you may want to you look at your value system, look what you're passionate about, what you care about, and see if there's some way that you can set yourself apart in the marketplace so that people respond to your uniqueness, to your energy, your value system. So that tagline means for me love, life, work, and spirituality as one. So
Faith,
that,
excuse me.
yes.
The screen I'm looking at is blown up, so we're not seeing everything in contact. I see about me and part of another word I'm assuming is continue, CONT, and I'm only seeing my tagline as holistic. So the page is blown up too big for what I can
Okay,
see.
I'm not quite sure why it's doing that because it's not on my screen. How's that? Does that help at all?
No,
Thank you, Mary. No. Okay.
sorry. It's still, I see, I see about me, and then I see my tagline is holistic,
Okay.
love,
Well,
life,
wait,
work,
there's
and
not
that's
a
it.
whole lot I can do about it because it looks great on my screen, and so we're just going to have to see how the recording comes out. Let me go to the next screen and let's see what happens here. This is where my slides got out of place. I was trying to multitask today, so let's just see. Okay, I think that's okay. So we just switched slides. So what are we going to cover today? Mary, can you see this screen?
Same thing. Half the half the page is cut off. The right
Wow,
border.
half the page is cut off. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get my husband over here. I'm going to stop the recording for a second so that we don't just have a lot of dead time in the recording. So let me stop it. All right, we're back on. Thank you, Mary, for letting me know about the slides. Really appreciate that. So here's
You're
what we
welcome.
will cover. A quick review from our last webinar, Rock Your Business with Facebook Engagement Strategy. It's going to be a very quick review, by the way, because you can watch that webinar to get the full details. We are going to create a posting strategy schedule, and that's very important in order for you to be effective, reduce the amount of time it takes to do this process, and to reduce or eliminate overwhelm. We're going to talk about what happens when your post goes viral. We have an expert panelist, Ms. Mary Burrell, that knows all about that. We're going to talk about celebrating birthdays and reconnecting with your Facebook friends and networking within groups and pages. We will talk about who is your target market and what does that mean and why is it important. Creating Facebook lists so you can be organized and send and do power posts that you literally can, if you choose, target to specific lists that you create in your Facebook page. We'll show you how to do that. We'll also talk about networking on Facebook groups and pages and the difference between the two. And I actually prefer groups because it's much more social, but sometimes pages is where you're going to find some great connections as well. And I really want to stress that you want to commit 3 years to this strategy. I started out saying 1 year, but uh, our business is a 3 to 5 year plan. It can happen in a year, it can happen in 6 months, but I really want you to make a long-term commitment to utilizing this strategy with whatever you're already doing to build your business, whether that's just face-to-face, friends, making a phone call, texting someone. If when you integrate this online approach with what you're already doing, it's like literally putting gasoline on an already going fire. It's very exciting. Be sure to review the Facebook engagement strategy, videos in the back office, like we talked about earlier, at alivetothrivenow.com. Click on team area, register, click on social media, click on Facebook training, and you'll find it all there. Be a team player when you participate and support others in this endeavor. And we're going to show you what that means. We're going to like and comment on other people's posts. Be a contributor because spiritually it's a good thing to do and it always comes back to you 1,000-fold. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. That's the other key piece. Review my Rock Your Business webinar. Okay, so we definitely want you to review that webinar that we did before, the first one that goes over all the different puzzle pieces of the strategy. And we also include three-way messaging that leads to a three-way call in that webinar. And it is, I've heard it's very good. And I would say a lot of that has to do with our beautiful Mary Burrell. So thank you so much for that, Mary. And moving right along. Okay, so what I did here is rather than, oh, I just realized something. I don't know where my Facebook page is. Oh, there it is. When Larry made everything smaller, it really went small. So at any rate, this is a screenshot of our two chat threads. We go over it. We go over this actually in the first webinar, but this is review. And we renamed them so the chat threads are named FB for Facebook, of course, Links Alive to Thrive, which is our branded team name, and FB Support Alive to Thrive. Now, support is for interaction, is for attagirls and attaboys, for questions, for tips, for pointers. This is a great place. It keeps the energy going. This is an energy endeavor that we're doing. If you don't have interaction, people fall away. They stop doing it. People need to be lifted up on a daily basis to stay with it, right? So that's why we wanted to have the interaction. So we created two separate threads, one for the interaction and the other one just for real efficiency. It's just for links only, no discussion, no talking. So we just put our links there. So it makes it really easy for someone to go in, even if you're working full time and have a busy family. If you can take 20 or 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you can do this strategy. And what you do is you set an alarm on your smartphone. We'll talk more about that as we talk about scheduling. And you literally just go in and check and see which posts you have not already liked and commented on. And we do limit you to one power post per day inside this thread. The only exception is if you also have a business page with Facebook, you can go ahead and post that as well. But again, be sure to be a contributor and not just a taker. So this is a collaboration, all of us working together. And here I just show you that I actually posted the beautiful little picture of Alive to Thrive Now as indicating these two chat threads that I just showed you. So now you know what that looks like. All right, now we get to the fun part. Mary Burrell has been so diligent. Mary, how long do you think you've been actively working with the Facebook strategy?
Oh, since it started, what was that, in February?
Was it February or was it March? I can't remember.
My thought it was February, but we
Okay.
can go back and look at that.
Yeah, well, let's just say February then. So you've been really diligent. You have posted every day, you have liked and commented, and you're always looking to make it better and better. And So I think it totally makes sense that you would have had this kind of experience because you've been so diligent from the very beginning. Let me just share a little bit that a power post that we add likes and comments to increases the traffic to that post. And it also increases the potential, if it's the right post at the right time with the right audience, to have the potential for it to go viral. Well, Mary's waist shaper post went viral. Over 8,000 shares and over 2,000 likes. And Mary's post also, she had 300 or so requests to learn more about nutritional cleansing. And here's the key to her success is consistency and continuing on day by day and duplicating this with your team just takes it to a whole nother level. Let me actually just, and then I'll start with this first slide, Mary. I want to just say that your leadership is just incredible. You're a goal giver, you're a true servant leader, and take it away.
Thanks, Faith. I appreciate that. I'm just learning like everybody else. So the screen that's up, the what could you do in 90 days, that was a screenshot of a post that I did in a group. And you see that there was 174 likes and 56 comments. So again, like I mentioned last week, when you get into these groups, you gotta have kind of thick skin because some people can be real rude. So you just kind of like don't get involved in all the negative chatter and just keep along. My purpose for posting in groups is to get contacts, not to get somebody, not to sell a product, the product. My whole goal is building relationship when I go in these groups. So when I go to this, I see 174 people liked my post. So what I do is I go through all those 74 people and I just briefly check their page, and if I get an intuitive hit, then I ask them to be my friend. And I don't just request their friendship, I request their friendship and I send them a private message. And what I say in that message could be, I see that you like my post and I like connecting with like-minded people, would love to include you in my circle of friends. 9 times out of 10, they will go ahead and say yes. Sometimes you get people who don't, and you just kind of kiss them and bless them goodbye and move on to the next one. I do that with both the groups and the pages. Well, the pages, when someone posts, I'm reading the comments, not necessarily the posts. And I'm looking for comments from people who I get an intuitive hit on if they're talking my language. So then I will like their comment and reply to their comment with something positive. That's how I found this gentleman, Jim Green, Faith, was doing just that. He was talking about starting a 2-week juice cleanse of some sort. And I just said, well, good luck with that. I've had great success with my nutritional cleansing, been doing it for 10 years. And that's all I said on the post. And he sent me a private message and said, I need to know more about this cleanse you're doing. And within a week, he enrolled with President's Pack.
That is right. And you did a wonderful job, you and Bridget, with three-way messaging with him as well.
Exactly. We always take them back into the 3-way messaging once they raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested. So that's about all I can do. The comments, there were only 5 comments. Did you switch that? You did. Okay, so don't go back to the last one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I had 2 slides and they ended up, see what happened?
Right. Because
So,
one was in one group and the other one was in a different group. And you can see the action on the different groups, what had happened there. So, and that's why I had included both slides, Faith, just so they got a fix for that. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so this is one of my posts that I did, and you see that it was liked 14 times, commented 8, and shared 2. So what I do when I always check the people who like my comment. I check their page. Number 1 question is, are they already my friend? If they are, great. If they're not, then I check their page, their about me. I scroll down to their likes, and I just check out what their likes. Are they like-minded me? If so, then yes, I will ask them to be my friend. Faith, you can go to the next slide, please.
Awesome.
Another one that's on my wall, and again, you can see 22 people liked it, 2 people shared, and 8 people commented. So what I do is I redo this for each post. If they like, and the process is the same, whether they liked it, commented, or shared. It's pretty much, I'm always touching them. When they touch me, I touch them back. So I go to the 22 likes, I look at their about page if they're not my friend, get an intuitive hit, ask them to be my friend. If they comment, I see what I like their comment, and this is really important. I see this is really important to do. When people comment, go take the time, like their comment, and specifically reply to their comment. A lot of people think, oh, well, this is way too much, but actually it's not, because again, it goes back to every time you like a comment and comment, it brings that right up back up to the top of the news feed for new people who are just getting on Facebook maybe to catch it. So you're always touching them, doing something, and it doesn't have to be a long drawn out comment. It could be just something like, I agree 100%, thanks, or yes with exclamation marks. I've even done with just 4 or 5 exclamation points if it was something that was so powerful that there was just no words to use to describe it. And people usually get that when you do that. The next slide. Same thing here. So when people share, we talked about people liking, we talk about people commenting and what to do. Now we're going to talk about people sharing. When people share my posts, I always go and I like, and I always comment, thanks for sharing. Whether they are my friend or somebody that I don't know, I always do that. Again, why? Because I liked it and I commented. It brings it right back to the top of the news feed for me.
Brilliant.
Okay? Now, sometimes when you go to somebody who has shared your post, there is no option to like, because that's the settings that they have put on their Facebook. So what I do is then, usually people who are that closed, I am not open to talking to. Of course I will if they're open. So depending on how I feel when I get there, I will check them out too and go to their page. I find most of the time, and there's always exception to the rule, but I find that most of the time they're really closed tight, so you don't know anything about them. So you really don't want to waste too much time on that, trying to figure out. You're looking for people who are open and ready and willing.
Now.
That's what you're looking for.
Right now.
Right now. That's right, right now. And if they're not allowing you to like on their comment or even to see anything about them, then they're not right there where they need to be yet. Next one. Oh, this one was a fun one. So, you've noticed that I've done before and after inspirational kind of stories. I've done educational stories, and then I do some fun stories. So this one, I actually didn't expect this one to get as much action as it did. And out of these 34 likes, I think I got about 4 new friends out of that, just that one post. And the comments, sometimes the likes all match the comment. Sometimes people comment and don't like it. Some people like it and don't comment. So you got to check both situations out.
That was a super fun post. I remember watching the video. I loved it.
Yeah, it was. It was fun. Brought back a lot of memories for me too. So again, you're seeing a theme here. Mondays are motivational Mondays, and these are just what I picked out. You can choose, be creative. So Mondays are motivational Mondays, Tuesdays are tasty Tuesdays, Wellness Wednesdays. I fluctuate between Throwback Thursday and Thoughtful Thursday, depending on if I can find content that's really intriguing. And I'm always looking for intriguing posts. I don't want to be like another post. I want to be unique.
You want to be you, exactly.
You don't see me sharing too many other people's posts, and if I do, I make them my own. I don't share them. I copy the content, I reword it, I put it into my own words, and then I take the picture. And the same thing with recipes. I could have this came from Candace Tweedy. I could have just shared that right to my page, but I didn't, because I don't want people going back to her. I want people coming to me. So I just cut out the recipe, I saved the picture. I went to my post. I pasted the information in the post, picked up the picture, shared it, and voila, it's mine. It's that easy.
It really is. Now here we're going to talk about the viral post.
That's fun. I still am getting, oh my goodness, I am still getting people from that post. And I still have to go back to that post and clean it up because you get the losers out there who like to be negative on your post. And so I always go and I try to delete posts, comments, excuse me, that are negative because I try to stay always uplifting and positive and educational. That's my branding. Uplift, positive, and educational. And people are beginning to tie that into me. I've noticed that with a couple private messages I've got from some of my Facebook friends, and it feels really good when people acknowledge your brand. Because for me, I wasn't sure what my brand was until people are like coming back to me and telling me. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's kind of cool, huh? So be patient with yourself. If you've not done this before, be patient because it's all a learning process, and I'm still learning too. So I just want to talk a little bit, if I can, about the content, how I put things into words. So I'm not a wordsmith. Bridget McMillan is the wordsmith. She is brilliant putting words together where they are flowing and they make sense. That is not my forte. So what I do, I usually start with a picture. I find a picture that I like. Once I find the picture, now I've got to find content for that picture. So I think about the picture and the message that it's giving me, and then I go and put that message in Google and search it, and you will be surprised what content comes up. I don't know if anybody is familiar with my post today. I think it was today, they're all running together here. The post about the nutrition that the doctors are taught in medical school.
I remember that one, Mary. Yes.
Okay. So how did that come about? I usually find my post a couple of nights before. I'm always on my phone. So a couple of days ago, one of our strategy players posted something about that, which my comment was, you know, patients go to doctors asking them for permission or information about nutrition, and the doctors aren't educated. They can't tell them. So that's why I made me think, well, maybe that would be a good post. So I put that in the amount of education doctors receive in nutrition in medical school, and I Googled it. And I totally came up with that graph that I included in, and then I just, along with that, I hit the web instead of image, I hit web and searched the same thing in the web, and I came up with some content for that picture. What happened was, I found the picture first, and if you click on the picture when you Google it, it'll take you to the link where that was included, and that's where I got the information about the doctor's education. So it tied directly to the picture. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense, Mary.
Okay, good. So that's basically all I do. For me, and you got to find what's easy, what's the best for you. But for me, it's find the picture, get the message that it's trying to tell you, put that in text form in a Google search, and see what comes up.
I love it. Mary, I want you to also be talking a little bit about what happened, the story behind the viral post, and how you handled the follow-up, because there was a point where we were connecting with people every hour
Hmm.
because you had hundreds of people requesting information. So why don't you share with our audience tonight and those that will watch the replay a little bit about putting this post together and how you handled the onslaught of interest.
Okay. So I have two Facebook ladies who I've been wanting in my business. They have done, since I've known them, they are on their second network marketing business. The first one, no clue what happened. As we all know, they come and go. So I just said, okay, so I'm just going to watch these girls and I'm going to like and comment on some of their posts. And of course, not promoting their business, but just generic posting that they are doing. I will like and comment on it. What does that do? That brings them into my news feed, so they're seeing what I'm posting. So it's all strategical here. So I went this one day when I posted the viral post. I went to these two ladies' Facebook page, and one was talking about the Waist Shaper, but the other one went so far as to doing a before and after video. The before of her in this dress without the Waist Shaper, and then an after video with her in the same dress in a body shaper and in a Waist Shaper. And I'm thinking, geez, women are desperate if they have to go through all this uncomfortableness to just get what they think is a looking good body. So, and I know from personal experience, it's one thing to look good and a whole nother thing to feel that way. So I just, that sent me on a chase in Google. I first Googled hazards of waist shapers, and I got the picture. And then I clicked on the picture, and it brought me to an article where I cut and pasted a couple of quotes from doctors, and I made up my own comment. Not realizing I was focusing on these two girls, these two ladies. Within 18 hours, that post went viral, and Faith gave you the numbers. There was over 8,000 times it had been shared. I have 500 as of this morning, 535 new friend requests, and I still have an inbox worth, probably 250 people that I'm working through messaging back and forth. There's about a week time span between their conversation and my last conversation because I'm so busy I can't get to all of them so fast. Excuse me. So it's just a process, but it's a fun process, and through this process I learned some valuable lessons. I wasn't really good at forming. I've been taught to form by the best, Faith and Bridget, but I was never good at it because of my own obstacles that I put in the way. I felt by asking people questions that I was intruding. I was being nosy. How dare I ask them questions? So it's just my mindset. So when this happened, I'm getting hammered with people. All of a sudden, my mindset's different. I am not I'm not desperate. I don't want to talk to every one of these people. Why? Because every one of these people are not ready. They're not ready, willing, or able right now. So how am I going to get to that part of it so quickly so I'm not spending 3 or 4 messages to find out if they're the one? So I just kind of fixed and refined the script as I went along, and I found myself forming them. And I woke up one morning and I thought, wow, look at here. What are you doing? You're forming people. And I found that I wasn't going to Faith for 3-way calls. I wasn't scheduling 8 or 9 a day. What I found was I was forming them and finding out that we're not ready to do that 3-way yet with the expert.
And
they needed to go.
Mary, may I
Yes,
jump in for a second?
Of course.
Just in case people don't know what form is, why don't you walk them through what form is? Forming.
Okay, that's a good point. Thanks, Faith. So form, the letters that spell form, F-O-R-M. F is for family. You ask questions. So, do you have a family? Are you married? O, occupation. What do you do for work? Are you a student? R, recreation. What kind of fun? What do you do for fun? M, what motivates them? What about the money? And when you're done forming them, you will have enough information under your belt to better help them, because you'll know what their hot spots are in that conversation. They're not just giving you answers to your questions, but they're elaborating as well. And sometimes they don't elaborate, and you have to ask more questions to pull it out of them. Excuse me. So it's pretty interesting once you get into forming them. You find out a whole lot of information. So now you go to present them, and then the questions come up. You're better able to address the questions because you know more about them.
So this really requires staying very organized, especially when you have this level. So do you want to just touch on some of the ways that you stayed organized while you're going through, hundreds of people?
Say that one more time, Faith. I'm sorry.
No worries. I thought you might want to touch on just briefly how you stayed organized, keeping track of all these requests for more information. Did you have anything special you were doing, or just allowing Facebook to keep track of them in your message box?
Oh my God, if I allowed Facebook to do that, I'd be a mess today.
I thought so. I thought so.
So what I learned, there's so many things about Facebook messaging that I learned. So when you're in Facebook messaging and you see the little numbers that show up, um, it'll say like inbox and then in parentheses 5.
Yes.
So if you click on the word inbox, it's just going to open up your inbox. But if you click on the number in parentheses, it'll bring up just those unread messages. Did you know that?
I think that was something that I remember seeing once and totally forgot about. So thank you for the reminder.
A lot of people don't realize that you have an other box as well.
That's
And where
true.
you find that box is right next to the inbox in your messaging box. So you'll see the word inbox, and then right next to it, you'll see, and it's a lighter colored font, like it's faded, and
Yes.
it'll say other box, other inbox. And you'll be surprised how many messages you have sitting there if you didn't know that it was there. And what that box is if somebody sends you a message and you are not friends with them, it'll go to that other inbox. So I had hundreds of them in that other inbox. If you are on instant messaging and they are on instant messaging, then they send you a message, it goes right into your regular box. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so instant messaging meaning that on your smartphone, correct?
Well, you have instant messaging on Facebook on your computer as well.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's right.
Right. It looks like a little lightning bolt, the blue and white.
Mm-hmm.
That's the instant chat. So, I lost my train of thought, Faith. I'm sorry. Where was I at?
Well, we were talking about tracking all of this, and you mentioned that
Oh,
if you click on the number that shows up in the box, those are the ones that, Facebook lets you know you haven't read those yet. You haven't
those are the new messages
new
coming in.
message.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So every day when I started, when this happened, and I had all these hundreds that were needing first touch, I always started in the beginning. I always I would spend half my time opening up the new emails, and the other half when I go down to the bottom I would scroll down to the bottom of the inbox to the older messages, and I'd work my way up. So every time I'd come on, that's what I'd do. I'd scroll down to the bottom and I'd work my way up. And I would do, I think on one page as you're looking at your inbox, I think there's like 10 messages that you can count without having to move the scroll bar. So I must have did those 10 pages, or 10 messages on one page, oh, maybe 20 times, 15 times before I would stop. And I'd go back to addressing the new messages coming in. So it was a balance of catching the new ones, and the new ones where it could have been a new message where it was a reply from someone, or it could have been just a brand new message coming in for the first time asking for more information. So that's how I maintained that. And then I just had a log in a notebook, and those were all the ones that were hot molecules, as Renata Lee would say. Those are the ones that, in my opinion, were the ones to go back to and get them into the Alive to Thrive Now so they can be inspired and dripped on until they were ready to make their own decision and get started for themselves.
Mary, let's just touch on really quickly because I know that this is running a little bit longer, but it'll be well worth it. Let's touch on real quickly what has been your track record so far with adding people to our welcome group, Alive to Thrive Now. There's two types of people that can be entered into that group. A person that says, I'm ready to get started, you'll enter them into Alive to Thrive Now, and you'll also add them to the Alive to Thrive product support. But if someone isn't quite ready, they're getting their
Mm-hmm.
money together, they're researching a little further, or maybe they need to check with a spouse. What has been your track record so far, Mary, in adding people to that group?
Okay, so right now there's 15 of my contacts in that group. And out of those 15, 2 have enrolled both with President's Packs. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 appointments to get them started at various dates. And the others I'm still working through. It's just not good timing for them.
Perfect. So that's really, really powerful though, Mary. And I know you tapped into a community of people that really great people, but different demographics. Some of them are professionals, but there were a lot of probably uh, different economic segments of the population. And so and each post is going to probably appeal to a different demographic, don't you think?
Exactly. It does. And there's so what I found about my post going viral is there's a lot of people in this world who are so needy of this, and their head's just not in a place where they would take it on. They're not open to education, so then you can't move forward if people aren't open to being coachable, right?
Right. And this is where, you love everyone and you can drip
Sure.
on them and keep track of them, but you can't spend too much time with the wrong people at the wrong time. Otherwise, that burns you out. So I just wanted to make note of that. Mary, any final thoughts before we move on? Because I know we're going a little bit long here.
Yeah, just one last thing. What I do is when it's somebody from another country, I don't just disregard them. I have a classic little message that I send to them, and what I always tell them is stay in touch because my company opens a new place, new countries every year, and you just never know. So stay in touch. And then what I do is I don't delete that message out of my inbox. I archive it. So they save it, but they take it out of your box so you don't see it all the time. But you can go back into the archives and pull it out when you need it.
Mary, I think it would be really valuable to maybe to do another webinar, much shorter than this one, where we just get into the whole aspect of all the different bells and whistles inside Facebook when it comes to messaging. Because there's a lot of things here that I think would help people see visually, but because of the time, we don't have time to include all of
Sure.
that right at this moment. But what a wonderful presentation. Anything else? I don't want to cut you off, but
Nope, I'm full. Thank you.
oh, you did a great job. Now, real quick, Mary, I'm going to check in with you. On these screenshots that are in the slides, are they okay as far as being able to see them okay? Like this one that we're looking at right now?
I'm looking at my viral post and I can see it well. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
good. That's all I wanted to check on. Thank you so much. Great job. Very
Thanks.
inspirational. Okay, so one of the things that happens when people start something brand new, especially when it has to do with the internet, is they can feel overwhelmed and they can feel scattered. And so their activities are not as effective. So, what we need to do is create something called a posting schedule. And one of the cool tools for that is called Post Planner, and it's an app that's actually was purchased by Facebook, owned by Facebook. So if you go into a search bar on any page on Facebook and put in Post Planner, you're going to be able to pull it up. And that's a way that you can pre-schedule your posts for the week. You don't have to use this app, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing now. I used to use the app. I'm not using it right now. I'm doing it a little differently, and I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. But it's nice to know it's available. And for those of you that work full time, have busy families, this is a way that you could schedule out on Sunday evenings what your posts are going to be for the week. And so those will be automatically posted to your page. Let's see here, anything else? And as Mary discussed, we have specific days that we do certain kinds of posts, and I'm getting better at it. The more organized I become, the better I'm getting at doing specific posting on certain days. And the reason for that is twofold. One, it makes it simpler for you. Two, your peeps, your followers, your friends are going to start looking forward to Motivational Mondays, Wellness Wednesdays, Inspirational Thursdays, Fun Freedom Fridays, and they get used to that pattern and they see you doing that on a consistent basis. They're going to check your page because they love what you post on Wellness Wednesdays. They love the recipes, they love the health ideas, the exercise, the fitness. So this is something you want to think that you're really like a newspaper or magazine editor. And that might be a little daunting for some of you, but if you think of yourself, I'm an editor, I have my own newspaper or magazine, and Facebook is that platform. That's why having certain kinds of posts on specific days can really go a long way to building your authority as an outside expert in the eyes of other people, and predictability that they know what you're going to post on a certain day and they look forward to seeing that. So that's really powerful. Uh, I just mentioned this: motivational Mondays, wellness Wednesdays, inspirational Thursdays, fun Freedom Fridays. And again, you can make up your own. You don't need to use those. That's just a springboard to get your wheels turning. You want to create good business habits. Setting a schedule for posting definitely helps you overcome overwhelm. Consistency wins the race. And as I mentioned earlier, your audience will really appreciate it. I'm not going to go to Facebook to show you this right now because I want to move through this because we still have quite a bit of content to cover. But this is what Post Planner looks like. So I just took a couple screenshots so you can see what it looks like. And they say that increases engagement. I will say that the algorithms for Facebook, because they own the app, they say that they'll actually create more visibility for you in the newsfeed if you use the app. I don't really know that for a fact, but that's what Facebook says. Okay, so now we're going to talk about celebrating birthdays. I've done this before in the past, but I haven't been consistent with it, and I haven't done it consistently for a while. And you know what? I love to celebrate my friends' birthdays. However, just having a methodical, simple way that doesn't take a lot of your time. So why celebrate birthdays besides the fact that you want to celebrate birthdays with your friends? It's also a natural way to reconnect with people you might not have been in touch with for a while. It allows you to do a touch base with every single one of your Facebook friends potentially over the course of a year. And we really are going to focus on private messaging those friends, but you can certainly, with close friends, post on their wall as well. But just to save time, the private messaging is really the way to go. So I'm just showing this screen because over here you'll see event invites, and right below that, with the little birthday gift, you'll see this represents your birthdays. And we can actually go to my page and show you that in a minute. Okay, so here is something I wanted to show you. Lynn Wong, I think she lives in Malaysia. I forgot to check that before the webinar, but I wished her happy birthday, and she reached out to me. She reached out to me and she was so pleased. So this is what I said: "Hi Lynn, happy birthday. Wishing this to be your best year ever. Don't think we know each other personally, though we are connected as friends on Facebook. I have almost 4,000 friends, and probably half of them I don't really remember how I met them. And so this is a message I put together to overcome the fact that I don't know all these people. I'm making a commitment to put the social back on social media. Have any special plans for your big day?" And my name. And then I put a little picture. And I'm just going to go up here and what she did. Well, actually, I think these are out of order, but she reacted this way. And we talked a little bit, and then I asked her another question. I asked her if she was currently a journalist, because I went over and checked her profile page and saw that she had a background in journalism. So I asked her if she's a journalist, and she said no, that she's been working for a shipping firm for 30 years, and now she's happily retired. So I think these got out of order, so that's what happened here. And I mentioned something about, let's see, what does she say here? Oh, wonderful, got it. Yep, beautiful thing. What do you do for fun, passion, or relaxing now that your time is your own? Okay, so that, and then she says here at the bottom, I'm going to probably have to reorder these slides, it looks like, but she says here, Lynn goes, "Thank you for taking an interest in little me. I would like to know you better as well. Hope we can chat again." So, and this was midnight her time and 9 o'clock my time. So again, very natural conversation, just going back and forth, not forced. You're just really building relationships. I think this slide is just showing when you click a little icon in the birthday area, and I'll go over there in just a minute, you'll see these names come up. Actually, let me do that right now, God, I'm trying to get used to this being so small for me. It's tiny. Give me a second here. I'm going to go over to my home page. And the spinning wheel of death is on. Oh no. Okay, so I just want to show you again here where the little birthday present is on the right hand side on your home page of your Facebook page. You just click that and it brings up people's birthdays. And here we go. And here's people's birthdays. And what I did is I not only wished people happy birthday through private message, some people on their wall, if I'm really close to them, but I went ahead and did it a few days ahead and just said, hey, I'm wishing you a happy birthday early. Okay, so I just wanted to show you where that is. So let me click off of that and we'll come back to this page in a minute. All right, next section. Okay, this is a woman named Felicia Mupo who I've studied with, and a gentleman named uh, Terry Grimaud, who teach Facebook, they teach LinkedIn, all kinds of good stuff. I've really tapped into some great internet training. I spent about $5,000 last year just brushing up on my skill sets and working with some amazing trainers. And something in Felicia's presentation, she said she skips the wall posting. I think with close friends, I still want to post a happy birthday on their wall. But she mentions really focus on reaching out through private message, build engagement, open up conversations. Obviously, you're reconnecting with people. Some of the ways that she proposed that you can ask about their big day is happy birthday, Mary. What are your fun plans for today? Or happy birthday, hope you had a great one. What do you plan for tonight? If it's a weekend, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. Happy birthday. How are you celebrating this year? So those are just some variations. Okay, so now we're going to talk about identifying groups. Groups and pages is where you can network. Mary, you did such a great job covering this section. I won't have to take as much time. What you want to do, though, is you want to identify who is your perfect customer and or distributor. And in the internet marketing world, they call that an avatar. Avatar just means what is a profile of an ideal customer. You also, inside groups, you want to identify the administrator of the group. It's usually easy. If it's a private group where you have to be approved to join. Some groups you can just join and no one needs to approve you. And in that case, you have to do a little homework inside the group to determine who the administrator is. Usually they're the most prolific posters in the groups are the administrators. However, in a private group, you'll know the administrator because they will have had to approve you. So you'll know who that is. And you're going to want to reach out to them and connect and thank them for adding you to the group, and just indicate you'd love to be friends. And then you want to look inside the Facebook group and you want to look for the 3 top people that are posting. So you really want to look at who is doing the most posting inside that group. Don't try to connect with everyone inside a group. If you do that, you're going to get flagged by Facebook and you could get slapped. We call that Facebook jail, but we won't go too far into that. So you just want to really look at initially when you're inside a group to message and reach out and friend maybe 3 to 5 of the top posters inside that group. And you want to private message them. You want to add value, ask questions, and connect. So that's a little tip on that. You want to really find the groups that your prime prospect or avatar would be involved with. What does your target market like to do? What social topics would you have in common? So you don't want to join groups like it would be great for me to join a scuba group because people that do scuba have to be physically fit, but I don't scuba. So if I join a scuba group, it's not going to be congruent because I won't have anything in common with them because I don't scuba and everyone in a scuba group scubas. But if you scuba, join a scuba group because that would be, you would already have something in common with them because you love the scuba. And you probably find out that they want to be as healthy as they can because, in a way, they're definitely an athlete too. So you want to think of social topics. If you're a runner, mountain biker, you like to go river rafting, you love yoga. There's a group that I went to that's called Dogs and Walking. So if you have a dog and you love the walk, you can join that group. But again, when you go inside these groups, identify the administrator and several of the top posters initially and connect and request their friendship. So here I did a very quick, this is a sort of, this needs to be much bigger than it is. But for the sake of this presentation, I just want to get your wheels turning. Really sit down and look at who is your ideal business partner, who is your ideal customer. Think about what they love, their value systems. They're probably going to be similar to you. Don't have to be similar, but they could be. So I just wrote down, I look at people that love the exercise, eat organic, 80,000 a year or more. Maybe you could say 50 to 80,000. The reason I said 80,000 is I want to connect with people with discretionary income so that when the timing's right and they're inspired, that they don't have to go, oh my God, I don't have the money, or I'm going to have to save for months before I can purchase a system. So we're really wanting to think a little bit more like marketers here when you're reaching out to people you don't already know yet. I'm choosing female, though I'm just as happy to sponsor men. It's just that for the sake of this avatar, I said female. And probably in our organization, I would say probably 70% or higher are female anyway. However, there are probably some teams in Isogenics that have more males, but I know there's a lot of women. Want someone that wants to feel better, have more energy, someone who's proactive. If they find the right thing, they're going to take action on it. Someone that likes to read, they like to research. Maybe they're entrepreneurial. That's another thing to look for. Environmental, they care about the planet, care about a clean environment. Someone that supports GMO labeling, genetic modified labeling of foods because they know they want to eat clean, good food or eat organic. I say here loves hiking, reads Oprah magazine, loves massage, invests in her education, and you can go on and on. Where do they live? What kind of house, what car? You could get that detailed with your ideal customer slash distributor. Again, we're not saying, a lot of times people say, well, everyone is my target market. But the challenge when you're dealing with the internet and everyone is your target market, you end up speaking to no one because there's so much noise out there. There's so many people reaching out and with different messages. The more focused your message becomes, it's counterintuitive. It really is counterintuitive because what's going to happen is that the more you focus your content, the more you reach out through groups that are very focused and specialized, the more likely you're going to connect and have a better success rate. So it's something to get used to. It's a different way of thinking. I don't know how well this is showing. These are not great screenshots. I apologize. When I was going through Felicia Mupo's presentation, I just wanted to screenshot some of the different groups that she's part of. One of the really active groups that is super active is the Women of Internet Marketing and Women in Business. I think there's a Women in Business group. Mommy Entrepreneurs. A group like Mommy Entrepreneurs is more like a spam group because these are mommies that have different businesses, and we'll talk about the difference between groups where there's a sincere interest like scuba or mountain biking. Those groups tend to be, for the most part, more active, more interaction, where groups that are more entrepreneurial or network marketing oriented tend to be very spammy because everyone's talking and no one's listening. So how do you deal with that? So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Groups that allow you to connect with the administrator and top posters. There's just more of a platform for interaction. Uh, let's see, the other thing too, when you connect with the administrator of a group and you friend each other and you friend the top posters, because you're inside that group, when you start messaging other people in the group, as Mary said earlier in this presentation, she talked about the difference between your inbox and the other box, the one that most of us don't notice or look at. If you don't have any friends in common with someone, you try to message them, it's going to go into their other box. And there's a chance, and 10% of the time they may see it at some point. But for the most part, it's a waste of your time to message someone where it's going to their other box. So you want to be sure that when you're inside a group, you friend enough people so that the chances are inside that group, people are friending each other. So that means that as you start to private message people, and we'll talk about when there's a thread inside a group and it's pertinent to your business, that how you can message and reach out through that thread. But right now I'm going to show you, and pages are great. There's lots of pages out there. And I find a lot more pages that are maybe germane to health and wellness and fitness, but it depends on how active that page is. It depends on how much interaction. And if I should connect with someone on a business page that has posted there or commented, but we're not already, we don't have any friends in common, it's going to be sort of a waste of time. So that's something you have to take into account. Uh, and let me just move along here. I'm going to show you some different groups. I took a few weeks to do some research, and these are just some of these are groups and some of these are business pages. This one's a group called Hiking with Dogs. Definitely check it out. If you have a dog and you hike, this is a group for you. And I think there's some pretty good interaction in that group. This is the group called Women in Business. It is very busy. Now, this is not a group that you're going to necessarily initially connect with someone about nutritional cleansing, but you are going to connect with, there's a lot of women in this group because it's women in business, of course. Let me actually go see if I have the page up because I actually wanted to show you guys. Get over here if I can. Okay, so I need to look up that group. So let me just go ahead and go Women in Business. Here it is. There's 19,000 people in this group. Holy smokes. So as we get over there. Okay, still getting used to how small this looks to me. Lisa, how do you say her last name? Montevavia. She is the main administrator of this group, and it is a very active group. It's not uncommon to have hundreds of comments on the different posts, but there are very specific rules inside each group. So when you join a group, you need to read the rules, and the rules are listed under the description on the right-hand side. So be sure you read the rules so that you don't break the rules by doing the wrong thing. Inside this group, this is where you're probably going to need to be more like you're a little bit of, as you learn about Facebook marketing, this is where maybe you can guide some people on how to market, build a relationship, and then find out if they're getting the proper mentorship with what they're currently doing and how are they doing with it. And we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But what you do when you find a pertinent post that you want to interact with, and right now, just to save time, I'm not going to look too hard, but this one has 27 people that liked it. So if the post was germane to the way that you wanted to connect with them, you would simply click on each person, bring up their, I don't, let's see if I can do that. See right here, I put my mouse right over Jessica, and Jessica had, see how it jumps up? And here she's only allowing people to follow her, so it looks like a business page. So we're not going to go there. Let's try Tracy. So Tracy here, here's her page, And if I wanted to private message her, I could do it right here and stay right inside this group. And I could have like a little cut and paste thing going on and literally connect with people in a particular thread. So that's all I wanted to show you there. We're not going to take a lot of time on that tonight because this is going to be a bit of a long webinar because of all the content. This is another group, or is it a page? I think it's a group. And it is let's see, what is it? Mommy Entrepreneurs. This is a spam group again. So spam groups is where everyone's trying to sell their stuff. So you really don't want to post a lot inside spam groups, but you can prospect inside spam groups, but in a very professional way. You're going to check in and build a relationship with them first. Don't try to, market to them at all at the beginning because they're already doing other things, but you are looking to connect and build relationships. And if someone is really unsatisfied and you provide them a lot of value in terms of tips and encouragement, then the chances are they're going to look to you as the outside expert and want to find out what you are doing. But again, be more like a cat, not a dog when you're doing this. So again, we're moving to, this is another group that I joined because my exercise is mostly yoga, hiking, and dance walking. That means you dance while you walk. And this is a group out of San Diego. The only unfortunate thing I found out inside this group is this not as interactive as I was hoping for. When you go inside a group, if the only people that are posting are the administrators, that's probably not a great group to spend a lot of time in because it doesn't have a lot of activity and doesn't give you a chance to see what other people are saying and doing and then private message them to connect. So that's just a little tip on that. Okay, so an approach in a spam group like Mommy Entrepreneurs, what you can do is you want to private message individuals on germane posts, and you could say to them something like, and you wouldn't do this on the first post, by the way. You would wait. You would just connect and say, hey, I see that you're posting inside Facebook groups. How's that working for you? So it could be inside an MLM group. It could be an entrepreneurial group. Those tend to be spam groups. So the best thing you can do is see who's active in the group, private message them. Hopefully you've got a friend in common so it goes into their regular inbox. And you wouldn't say right away, are you being groomed for success? That would be insulting. But what you can say is, how are you doing? Are you marketing with Facebook? And if so, how's that going for you? So that's a natural way to open up that conversation. Now, later on, as you've interacted back and forth and you build rapport and trust, you could then at a later time say, are you being groomed for success? Do you have the leadership within your current team that's helping you find success? Those are just different ways you can work with a spam group. Another approach is, do you have a leader showing you how to get leads without random posting or relying strictly on friends and family? Are you being taught how to optimize Facebook? Position yourself as a leader that people want to join. So that's really what you're doing inside spam groups. You're not looking to post inside a spam group except to be encouraging, to provide value, but not to try to sell. So I just really want to make that point really clear. Here are some other pages. These are business pages. This one's called Extreme Weight Loss, so I thought I'd check it out. You guys can check it out as well. Oprah has a zillion different pages out there. This one is Oprah's Life Class, and I really like that, so I was wanting to show that. Another one to connect with women is Women Daily Magazine. So another place you can connect with people. This is a little off the wall, but people that like to dress up, wear nice clothes, oftentimes want to look good and feel good. So they also have discretionary income. So I thought of Nordstrom's. There's a ton of different higher end stores that you could identify and connect and see if you can find some people that are interacting on those pages that you can connect with. I love this page called Good Happens. It's called goodnewsnetwork.org. I even got their app on my phone. I just love it. And again, I was looking for this is my avatar. My avatar is a positive person, proactive individual, a contributor. So I was looking for pages that my perfect prospect would, be involved with. Another one is People's Choice Adventure of the Year, National Geographic. And National Geographic has a ton of pages, but this one seemed appropriate because people that like adventure usually want to be physically fit. And here's another one, Success Magazine. This is going more entrepreneurial, so check and see if you find people that are posting there as well. And this was the birthday one that got out of sequence. Here's another Fit Body Boot Camp. So again, this is people that are into fitness. Okay, so now here's one of the things I really wanted to cover on this webinar is your daily mode of operation. I'm really curious how many people have an exact daily mode of operation, or do you just wake up in the morning and just do whatever occurs to you? Now, there's nothing wrong with being spontaneous. I'm all for that. But I find that weeks go by so fast, don't they? I mean, you can literally be on Monday, and before you know it, you're on Friday and you're going, what did I do this week? What did I actually do in my Isagenix business that moved me forward? The way to get out of allowing your weeks to go by and your months to go by without seeing a real traction developing in your business is to set up a daily mode of operation. So I'm going to give you some tips on one. First of all, you can do your birthday reach outs for the day. I do them first thing in the morning. You can set alarms on your smartphone to remind you that, oh, it's time to do my birthday reach outs. Okay. And you might not have to do them every day. If you can do them a few days ahead and maybe you just do them twice a week, but set an alarm and put it in your calendar on your smartphone. During off-peak times, you want to network inside groups and pages. And what do I mean by off-peak times? You want to pick times that are not the times that you would be able to be on the phone or be in front of a decision-making person or doing three-way calls. So maybe late at night, early in the morning. That's a great time. Late at night is a great time to network in groups because a lot of people get on groups and pages after work, after dinner. So around 9 o'clock is a really good time to do your networking. So set that up in your calendar and set an alarm. Follow up with the people responding to your reach outs. And if you need to, set alarms for doing that as well. In fact, if I'm setting up appointments, I always have alarms on those appointments on my smartphone calendar. Make it a goal to reach out to 5 new people per day per week. This is 25 a week or 100 new reach outs a month. You're going to put these people into your prosperity pipeline, and you identify new groups and new pages for your target market. And I would do that once a week or at least a couple times a month, where you just say, okay, this is my time to go research. And again, going back to your avatar or your perfect client or customer, go and look at the things that you wrote down, add more things to it, and that will trigger the wheels to turn and for you to go, oh, I haven't checked out that group. Let me see. And you go into the search on any page on Facebook and you put in keywords. So, people that love to swim, it could be anything. It could be sports, it could be eating, it could be organic foods, it could be what else? It could be helping the environment. Whoever, all the qualities and the values of the people that you're looking for, that's going to help you identify groups and pages to network on. I suggest that you find an accountability partner and work together. It's more fun and you'll find yourself getting more done. Commit to going through any new training videos each week. So be sure that you're going through the training at Alive to Thrive Now and anything new being added. Be a student of our profession. Be a student of optimizing social media, and you're just going to, you're going to improve. It's going to get easier, and you're going to get better and better. Again, set alarms, have fun, of course, and schedule out your posts for the week Sunday evening if you want. Consider trying out Post Planner. You can create file folders on your computer for certain types of posts and collect content to put in those folders. In fact, let me do that right now. Let me pull up, if I can do this real quickly, and I'm going to pull this over here. Hopefully you can see this. What I have done under Documents, I actually have a folder called FB Engagement Strategy. And here I'm just starting to really get it organized. I created a subfolders for power posts for nutritional cleansing, power posts for anything to do with freedom and lifestyle, power posts for inspiration, and power posts for personal development. And I may add some others in there as I think of them. So for instance, what I notice is, and what I'm doing is, as I see people posting things that I like, I actually drag. Let me see if I can show you this real quick. I'm not sure if this is going to show up properly, so let me just move this around, but hoping that you can see this. But I actually drag pictures right onto my desktop. So there you can see that a little bit. I just go ahead and drag those pictures. Sometimes I'll copy and paste what I see people posting because it helps trigger my imagination. So that's really, and then what I do is, as I drag those onto my desktop, at the end of the day, I file them away here. So let me go back to this. So I get them filed away. And so right now, by organizing with the subfolders, I'm realizing that I have a lot of inspirational ideas, some freedom, and a little bit more in nutritional cleansing category, and a little bit in the personal development. But by categorizing these different pictures that trigger different posts, I can see where I need to go out and get more information on things that have to do with nutritional cleansing, fitness, all of, performance, all that kind of stuff. And I can organize it. Now you might be thinking, well, that's a lot of work. But the truth is that once you get this organized, once I complete this process and have all my nice little neat file folders with different, Power Post content, it's going to be fast and easy for me to get the job done. I'm going to be able to do a lot more faster. So that's what I wanted to show you there. Okay, so let me go back to the PowerPoint and bring it up here. And so again, the more organized you become, the less stress, less overwhelmed, the more effective you become. Creating Facebook lists. I'm going to do this really quickly because this particular webinar is going a little bit long. And if you ever forget how to do something on Facebook, just Google it. That's what I did. I forgot. How do I create lists on Facebook? I just went to Google and said, how do you create lists on Facebook? And it showed me exactly what to do. And basically, we'll go back to Facebook just for a second here. You want to go to your home page. So I'm going to click on home page. It's taking a second to pull it up. Got the wheel of death here. And what you want to do is, okay, you'll notice here on the left-hand side, let me just close this up here if I can. Oh God, what happened? That's so funny. I don't know what I clicked on. I'm not used to my screen being so small. This is so funny. Anyway, there somewhere around here, if I could, okay, here it is. I don't know if you guys can see this, but on my home page, on the left-hand side, underneath pages, it says friends. When I put my mouse over it, you'll see more. Ooh, gotta be really, oh, now I'm getting the spinning wheel of death again. So now we go over to more, and I click it, and this is where you create your lists. And you'll notice right here, I just created a list for nutritional cleansing. I'm probably going to create an entrepreneurial list or a list for lifestyle. But right now, nutritional cleansing is great. And I can add people right to this list. Okay, so I'm not going to take a lot of time with this. But if I click on this, and again, my only concern is I have too many tabs open. But this will pop up. and I can actually add friends to this list. But we're going to go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint. I think you're getting the general idea though. All right, so now, and this is what happens when you click on your list and you can add members into this list. So that's what that looks like. So what did we cover this evening? Well, we reviewed the last webinar that we did on the actual workings and the different pieces of the puzzle of the Facebook engagement strategy. We talked about creating a posting schedule. We talked about celebrating birthdays, and Mary did a phenomenal job of talking about what happens when your post goes viral and how she really actively connects with people that like and comment on her posts so that she's always reaching out and creating new friendships. And lastly here, who is your target market? We talked about that. Really keep adding to that target market. Take the time, get a notepad out or do it on your iPad and write down the qualities and characteristics of your perfect new member of your team, both of your customers and business builders. Create Facebook lists so that when you make these lists, you can literally go on Facebook. Let me see if I can show you this really quick. Let's go back to my actual profile page. So I'm going to click Faith here. And when you do a post, every time you post, you can literally choose your list. And so if I was in here and right here, it says public. So when it's public, it's going to reach a certain percentage of my friends, but it's more of a general thing. But if I want a specific list, I can click a friends list. So there's more options here. See that? More options. So you can actually select a specific list that you want that post to be seen by. So that, I just wanted to show you where that was. Let's see, we talked about networking on Facebook pages and groups. Groups are my favorite, but there's a lot of good stuff happening on pages. How Facebook pages differ from groups, we talked about that in your daily mode of operation. So that is it. Mary, anything that you wanted to add before we end tonight's webinar?
Thanks, Faith. No, it was great.
It was a lot of content. You can see why we wanted to do a part 1 and part 2. And Casey, who did the wonderful webinar that really got us launched into the strategy, covered a lot in about 54 minutes. But I wanted to go deeper on the marketing side, and that's why I wanted to do a second webinar that really digs deeply into the marketing piece. Again, this is being recorded, so you can replay it. You can fast forward to the parts that you want to review. So it's all available to you. We'll get this up in the Alive to Thrive business group in the next few days. I'll pin it to the top so you can find it. And soon we'll have it also in the back office at alivetothrivenow.com. Thank you guys so much. We're going to go ahead and end the recording here, so hold on.